Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub for Pub Sports Radio for Friday, June the 4th. It's Ian Cameron, Skee Prophet, Dutch Boy Fresh, Conor Mac with you, ready to end the week on a high note on a Friday with a massive Game 6 matchup tonight with the Dallas Mavericks and the LA Clippers. The Mavericks trying to show the world that a home team can actually win a damn game in this series. And they'll have that opportunity tonight as they try to send the LA Clippers home in disappointing fashion. It would be for the Clippers if they lose again. Before we get to tonight's game, we'll look back on last night, although one of the games I know, unfortunately, our man Skee may not be all that enthused about looking back upon, but we have to do it anyway. The Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trail Blazers. We did like Portland in the first half in that game, and that was the good news for last night for the Blazers and their backers. Well, the bad news was this fourth quarter. That was just a travesty. You know, if you're a Portland Trail Blazers fan, it was just a complete collapse down the stretch. And what else is new? Why have the Blazers not done anything in the playoffs in the last few years? Because they can't get a stop and they can't defend worth a damn when it matters the most. And we saw it once again on full display last night for this Portland team. It's exactly why they keep getting bounced out of the playoffs. And it happened again last night. Jokic, unbelievable. Monte Morris, strong again. Austin Rivers, a good game. Just no answers defensively. And I think Terry Stotts is done. As the head coach of this team. There's now whispers that he has coached his last game. And I know you've not had good defensive personnel other than Covington, you know, on this Portland team this season and in years past. But at some point it falls on the coach. You got to coach them up on defense. You got to tell them, how do you defend? How do you guard your man? How do you get back in transition? How do you do all those things to make yourself a good defensive team? Terry Stotts has not coached them well enough at that aspect of basketball, and he's probably going to fall on the sword because of it. But props to Denver. I mean, Michael Malone, he's the antithesis of Stotts. He's gotten his team to buy in. He's gotten his team to believe. They've stepped up without Jamal Murray. They've gotten the supporting cast going, and they deserve full marks for advancing to take on the Phoenix Suns, who bounced the LA Lakers. And that game was over in the first quarter when Devin Booker, you know, we were singing the praises of Booker on this show from a player prop standpoint. We loved the over 1.5 threes. We liked even his points over. And he got all of that in the first quarter of that. He was at 29 points after the first quarter last night.
That was wild.
Unbelievable performance. He single-handedly ended LeBron James and the Lakers season in the first quarter with that performance. They were down 20 before you could blink, before you can even get comfortable in your seat watching the game. And that was all she wrote from that point on. And for the Lakers, disappointing. I mean, LeBron, not 100%, but didn't play his best. Anthony Davis, it goes without saying, he shouldn't have played last night. Sometimes if you're AD, you got to ignore Charles Barkley calling you street clothes. You got to ignore people, Snoop Dogg, you know, hammering at you, get in there, play, show that you're tough, because that injury, clearly you shouldn't have been in there. And he didn't even last 5 minutes. It's not about him playing or not playing last night, guys. It's about he's got to work on whatever the fuck he does to get himself ready physically for a season. He's got to work on it. Whatever his training regimen is, it sucks right now because it's not keeping him from avoiding these injuries, one after another after another. And he is going to have to fix that himself and work on that in the offseason. And Frank Vogel's going to have to work on his coaching. It's almost like he thought, you know, LeBron and AD are going to be the guys that make it successful for me. And if, you know, LeBron struggles and AD's hurt, what have I done to put these other players in a position to succeed? What have I done to put combinations on the floor that work, to help these players be impact players? Because they didn't get anything from the supporting cast. And the coaching, that's bad coaching. You got to have some of these guys ready to step up, like a Kuzma and a KCP and Schroeder, who only played good last night when the series was already over. I mean, it was just one of those situations where Vogel did a terrible job. Where'd Montrezl Harrell go as well? Nothing from him in that series. This was a guy that was an integral part of the Clippers. So bad coaching by him as well, which isn't a surprise, and an unfortunate exit for the LA Lakers last night against the Phoenix Suns. Skee, you're first on the mic here as I pass it around here. Obviously, last night, very, very disappointing, disheartening, and the floor is yours now to vent your rage, so to speak, Morency style, on what happened with those Lakers last night.
No, I'm already done with them. I don't got much more to say. I'm already just disgusted. So I don't even want to talk about NBA today, honestly. So Lakers, I guess we'll see what happens next year. Credit to the Suns. They took care of business. And we'll see what they do in the next series. The Blazers, they need to just go ahead and break that up because Lillard, McCollum, etc. is just not going to work. We see that year after year. If you can't get a stop, you're not going to win meaningful games. So, and you saw Lillard put a quote up on Instagram from Nipsey Hussle, just pretty much he's tired of coming up short. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
Yeah, lots of questions off-season. Lakers and the Blazers, the two teams that got bounced last night. No question about that. Let's tip our cap to Phoenix. All right, we were worried about them going into the first round. They rose up. They played well. Booker was outstanding. Chris Paul, leader, played through a shoulder injury in that series. Ayton was good. Cameron Payne, guys like that stepped up, produced some offense. So give the credit to the Phoenix. And then, unlike Portland, they play defense. Phoenix. It was a good series defensively for them. So hats off to the Suns. Dutch, what did you think of last night?
Yeah, man. Salute to the chat real quick. North Ender, Eric Chang, The Hook, Ray Charles. Appreciate everybody joining us. Salute, mama guys. Yeah, so when it comes to yesterday, man, it was, the freshest look hit, 2-2 plus money for the day with the 2 units. So, I mean, it could have been better, though. I wasn't too happy with the outcome of the Blazers, to be completely honest. We loaded up on that first half, and then I shouldn't like I mentioned to you guys before, I shouldn't have locked in that full game. I didn't feel too comfortable with it afterwards, because they were a first money team. But to be honest with you, they had that game in the third quarter, and with 4 minutes, I believe about 4.5, 5 minutes to go, it was pretty much exactly how I planned it, except for that fucking first quarter from Michael Porter. I mean, goddamn, somebody played some defense on him. After that, he just wasn't making a shot and kind of was settling for deep threes. But from a coaching aspect, I feel like it was a big blown call from Stotts not challenging that 3-pointer on Nurkic on his third foul. They're up 13. They're up 13. It's his third. He's only got 2 fouls at the time. It clearly was not a foul. Stotts sits there with his arms closed, like, no, we're not doing it. He makes all 3 threes, all 3 free throws. Cuts it to 10. Nurkic the very next time comes down, gets his 4th foul. He's out. Boom. Next thing you know, it's a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And then he uses his challenge with less than 5 minutes to go on a freaking turnover with Carmelo when it's a tie game. To me, it just was little things like that matter in a big games like this. Stotts dropped the ball to me. Obviously, it's on the players from a defensive aspect. I love me Dame. He's my favorite player in the league. But, bro, you got to play some fucking defense. It's not just all about shooting threes and getting to the hole and points. You got to play some fucking defense. McCollum, man, I could rant all day about this shit. McCollum he wasn't in there. I didn't like his mental. I liked how he was aggressive, but from a point, I mean, God, stop shooting them threes. They're not going in, bro. Like, just stop shooting. And then his facial expression the whole fucking game just made me want to smack the fuck out of him. When it came, and then, Norman Powell playing no defense. Really, the whole team, no defense. And when you let Monte Morris, fucking Caponzo, Aaron Gordon pretty much beat you. Joker's going to get his. Porter didn't do shit after the first quarter. You let those 3 guys beat you and send you home or take your ass home in Portland. That, to me, was shocking and, depressing. And if you know me, you fuck with me, I'll keep it short, but if you fuck with me, like I've been saying for a minute, CJ and Dame does not work in the backcourt. Obviously, you keep Damian Lillard. They're too small. They don't play enough defense. You got to move CJ, and obviously Stotts needs to go. Comes to the Lakers, LBJ, we hit the under 31.5. It's a beautiful thing. He had me sweat a little bit at the end. I believe he finished with 29. But Devin Booker, man, C-Mac called it. You can't fuck with that kid. Skee called him out 2 games ago, and goddamn. That shit, he smacked us around yesterday. So, yeah, it was Phoenix from start to finish. And, LBJ needs to take care of that body. And we already know about AD. He needs to get on a whole new plan. I don't even want to start on him. So I'll leave AD alone.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously has got to alter. He's got to do something to alter his regimen to avoid these injuries. That's first and foremost. But yeah, I screwed up earlier on when I said it's not Vogel's fault they lost. It's not the Lakers team. It's Skee Profit for calling out Devin Booker, because that's really where the series turned in Phoenix's favor. And then Booker's just been ridiculous, playing out of his mind good ever since then. So that's the real reason the Lakers.
All the players watch the show. John Morant, Devin Booker.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they out on your ass, bro.
They know what's up. They're telling you the pub. Shit.
Yeah, man.
Skee Prophet knows how to motivate some players better than Frank Vogel.
Yeah.
That's another story. Conor Mac, what do you think here? Suns of last night's games, Conor.
Yeah, Blazers came out early. That was good. I had a little on that, and I had the full game over. But I thought the Nuggets and the 5 points we talked about was kind of a gift. I didn't know if they'd win, but I thought they covered. It just every time the Blazers go up by 7, both these teams a little bit. Nuggets were better, but they go up by 7 to 10. You know they're going to give it back up, and it's going to go right back to like a tie game. And they did so well. And you mentioned, Dutch, the last 4 minutes was just they cut the gap there, got it down to like 4 or 5 to start the fourth. And that was just a horrible fourth quarter. 14 points by the Blazers. A whole lot of standing around like, Dame, you're going to shoot it. And he was kind of off a little bit late. And McCollum didn't do anything. They were good early, him and Powell. But, yeah, they don't play defense much. They're all looking around and just they look like shit. And 14 points. That was horrible. And the Nuggets played well late. Yeah, in the late game, just way hot, too early. Crowder, Booker, they were just on fire. It just like Lakers just got slapped right away. And Davis went down, and it was just kind of done. When he went to the sideline, that was just it was the season was over for him. Yeah. But it was good. We hit the Booker over his points, threes, and the Crowder at plus 150 over 2.5. He shot it well. But let's get to this game tonight. It should be a good one.
And it's a good one is right, because if the Clippers lose tonight, man, there's going to be some second guessing about what we do with the core of this team moving forward.
Yeah,
this is 2 disappointing early exits in a row. And I know, and I see Skee, just as I'm saying this, he's going, he's itching to see another LA team go down.
If the Lakers don't win, Clippers, sure. Yeah, that'll cheer you up. Clippers going down.
Will they is the question, though, because the road team has won and covered every game in this series. And if you buy into that, you like the Clippers tonight. But it's easier said than done, because now it's playoff game pressure, elimination, backs against the wall. We have the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. Clippers 2.5-point road favorites in this game. Total 216.5 pretty much across the board. I don't have I'm not overly strong on the side, but I say this right now, I will have a small bet on Dallas here, plus the 2.5, plus the 3. I don't give a shit about this 5-0 streak for the road team in this series. This is about manning up, and who do I trust to want it more on the basketball court? Who wanted it more last night? Phoenix, they won. Who wanted it more last night? Denver, they won. I think there's a who want it more component that's stronger for Dallas than the Clippers right now. The Clippers did not show me they wanted this. When you control the series, take back control, 2-2, and you come out the way you did in Game 5 at home the other night, and you let Dallas get comfortable, you let Dallas go off early, especially Luka, and the next thing you know, you're basically an uphill battle and an uphill climb trying to get back into that game for the rest of it. You can't come out and play that way. There's no killer instinct, I think, on the Clipper group. I'm honestly believing that right now. So I understand the road teams won and covered. Sure, can the Clippers go and win on the road? Of course they can. We know they're talented enough to do it. I don't think they're mentally strong right now, though, and that's my issue. And I know what I'm going to get from Luka here. Forget about the neck. The neck is fine. I think he put that nonsense to rest in the last game, that his neck is more than okay. He was awesome in that game. I lean Dallas. I have no interest, none, zero, laying points on the road with the Clippers, even if the road team has won and covered every game in this series. It would be Dallas or pass for me. I kind of like the over as well. The Clippers and Ty Lue have gone to a little bit of a smaller lineup as of late, and I think that could speed up tempo and pace just a little bit. And we are talking about a reduction in this total. You know, this is the lowest total we've seen in this series right now, 216. Just like I did with the Suns and the Lakers, which was my best bet, over 207 last night. I said it's the lowest total of the series, and now it's been adjusted down too far. I thought that last night with Suns Lakers. I think that tonight with this Clippers Mavericks total, I like over 216. As far as props go, guys, one on each team. I'm not going to overthink it or overcomplicate it. Kawhi Leonard over 30.5 points for the Clippers. If they're going to win, he's got to be big. I'd like to think Paul George can play well, but there's no way I'm betting an over with PG in a game like this, backs against the wall facing elimination, because he's usually spit the bit offensively in games like this. So you like Kawhi over 30.5 points for the Clippers. And you know where I'm going for the Mavericks. Luka time, 31.5. I know it's a high number, but He's going to get there. He can get into the 30s. He got into the 40s the last game. The Clippers have shown me no defensive ability to stop him other than the one game when his neck was really bothering him. Other than that, he's been lighting up this Clippers team. So I like Kawhi over 30.5, Luka the Don over 31.5 points for player props tonight. Skee, what do you think here? Clippers Mavericks.
Yeah, I like both of those props, so no need to really repeat that. If you're looking for other guys, I think, especially if you at all like the Clippers to win, somebody who should step up and has been going over their point total is Nicholas Batum. His point total is like 8.5, and he's covered it, I want to say, 4 of the 5 games. The game that you were talking about, Ian, where Luka's neck was messed up, Dallas only shot 35% from the field, and that game stayed under. You look at the last game that they played, both teams shot poor. I think close to 40%, both teams from the field, and they got to 205. So if they have a decent shooting night, which we're expecting if you like Kawhi over and Luka over for the most part, I think they can very easily get over 216. So I'm in agreement with you in all ways, Ian. If I'm playing this one, it would be probably Luka, number 1, and I like the total to go over 216 too.
All right, so lean Mavericks, liking the over and liking the 2 props, Kawhi over and Luka over points tonight for a Skee Profit. Dutch, have at it, Clippers Mavs.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Wyatt, my guy Lance in the chat. Hit the like button. That's what we're all about to do. Everybody take a minute. It's Fresh Friday. Let's get that motherfucker started right. Hit the like button. The bag's soon to come after. Now, for this game, it is tricky. Obviously, I think most people know where I'm at, and Ian pretty much said what I have already. So you can get Kawhi over 29.5 at -110 if you shop around. And, we've been on him pretty much the whole series. In Dallas, 24-32 from the field, averaging 32.5 in the 2 games he's played in Dallas. I like those numbers. Big game for him. Had a little bit of a subpar game, you could say, with 20. The little media with the Rondo shit. I expect you'll get the best game out of Kawhi. But I'm right with you, Ian. I have a lot going on with these props between, Luka and Kawhi. I'll go into the Lukas in a moment. But from a side perspective, I think, I like the money line, though, with Dallas. I don't know if I'm going to go to the window with it, but that's the only way I would go. I will tweet that out if I do lock that in. But I could only bet Dallas money line here. I don't need the 2.5. I think if they lose, comfortably. If not, they're going to win this game outright. Just like you said, pretty much everything you said about it from a side perspective. I don't trust anybody really on, the Clippers side. I do expect Kawhi to get his, but when it comes down to closing time, where I'm looking. Luka the motherfucking Don. I got it in it was 29.5 -120. Now it's 31.5. It's all the way up to 32.5 -110 at some books. So shop around. But what I really like, though, and it's available right now, is 47.5 -115 points, rebounds, and assists. He had 40 plus, over 14 assists last game. He's getting the rebounds as well. I mean, he's going to load up the stat sheet from points, rebounds, and assists. We might even get there just with points alone, but I don't like giving out a number that's moved so much. I definitely like the over 31, 32. But if you want to go 47.5, 48.5 points, rebounds, and assists, Luka the Don will shine at home in Dallas tonight. Now, I also like I'm loading up on Luka. This is why I'm not really locking in too much on the side perspective. If you get on the threes, now it's over 2.5 -200. Some guys like to lay that type of money. I'm more of the over 3.5 threes plus 135 for Luka. That's good value there. Now, he's went over this number 4 in the 5 games, and he's got 25 threes in 5 games. So I expect Luka to have 4 more tonight. And top scorer, too, plus 100. If you guys looking around, top scorer of the game, you don't want to lay the juice on the points. Top scorer is plus 100, Luka the motherfucking Don.
I saw someone post a write-up supporting the Clippers tonight, and I feel there's reasons to like the Clippers. I get it, but the reasoning, and I just happened to glance at it. I don't remember whose Twitter it was. I just saw a little part of the write-up. I just happened to see it on my feed, and I saw the Clippers had a letdown in Game 5. Tonight's a letdown spot for the Dallas Mavericks now. I'm like, what? Letdown spot? This team beat them in the playoffs last year. You think there's a letdown in a Game 6 at home?
At
a chance
home,
to
close it out? Come on.
Knock them out last year? They're foaming at the mouth, Dallas.
Another thing about the side perspective is, from a side perspective, Dallas, they were out rebounded. The Clippers out rebounded them, had more assists, and they held them to about 6 points under their average at 41% from the field, and still lost the game in LA. So, I mean, people like the Clippers here, but the numbers to me say the value is on the Mavericks money line.
Yeah, and there's big questions about the, put away a team mentality of the Clippers, the killer instinct. I'm still doubtful whether they've got it in them. They didn't show it against Denver last year. We remember that awful flame out at the end of that series. So they've got to show me this group. There's no question about that. So we all seem to think the big guns are rising up tonight. Kawhi for the Clippers, Luka for the Mavericks. It seems straightforward. A big game like this, Clippers trying to stay alive, Dallas trying to win the series and wrap it up. You would expect your best players to be your best players. That's Kawhi for the Clippers, and that's Luka Doncic definitely for the Mavericks. And by the way, if you like the Clippers tonight for the game, I would say don't bet them tonight in the game. Take the plus 135, plus 140 series price, because if they win tonight, all of a sudden you got plus 135, plus 140 for Game 7 with the Clippers at home. I think that's a better way to go about it in my mind. Connor, what do you think here tonight? Clips, Mavs.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good look if you like the Clippers. Hey, I know the road team has won here, but I can't lay 3 with the Clippers. Shit, no way. From a side here, I'd only be on the Mavs. I think you're smart. I mean, you could take the 3, but I think, like you're saying, Dutch, just go money line if you want to. But if you want to be safe, take the 3. This game, the pace is so slow. If they shoot it well, it will go over. You guys are right. And I think the line's super sharp. That's why I'm going to stay off the total. I think it could go either just over or just under. Props in this one. Yeah, you can't go wrong. Luka, big-time players. Got to play big in big games. Luka, Kawhi. I like the Batum over 8.5 points. Maybe it's 3. But I'm looking at Jackson, Reggie Jackson. He's been big the last 4 games. He had 20. Last game, 15, 16, 15. He was 6 of 12 from 3. His over 2.5 threes or plus 110. I'm looking at him a little bit as well tonight from a prop standpoint. But I'm going to keep it small. 1 game. I don't want to go too crazy. That's all I really got.
All right, that's the game tonight. Clippers, Mavericks. We'll run through the 3 series set for the second round, just in terms of overall series prices. Of course, throughout the next several days, we'll go game by game with each series, but just overall series price thoughts. Milwaukee, Brooklyn, this one starts tomorrow. We'll talk about game 1 specifically on tomorrow's show. But for the series price here, the Nets nearly minus 200 series favorites, Bucks around plus 170, plus 180. I think this is the one underdog shot I feel the most comfortable taking a shot with in this second round, and that's Milwaukee. I'm starting to buy in a little bit. I know Brooklyn's got Durant, Harden, and Irving. I understand all that. I like them, Milwaukee, in terms of the way they really played well defensively later in that series against Miami. Miami's had their flaws. I get it. Not the team they were last year. But I think Milwaukee with Drew Holiday, they're going to be able to at least do a better job throwing a lot of different wrinkles and looks defensively at the Nets. I think Giannis is going to be able to feast inside against the Nets. Like, who is Jeff Green going to be good to go in this series? Like, where's the interior resistance in this series for Brooklyn? That really does concern me in this series going up against Giannis inside that paint area. And look, Budenholzer still concerns me from a coaching aspect. Usually I'm going to give the other guy the benefit of the doubt, but the other guy's a rookie head coach, Steve Nash. I know he's a Hall of Famer, but his first time in the playoffs. Yeah, good on Nash, good on the Nets. You beat up Boston, who've been basically a disaster this season, total underachiever. Brad Stevens, obviously had issues with that team. And yeah, Brooklyn went past them, but now you're going to face a much taller order. I think I still like Milwaukee a little bit more defensively than I do Brooklyn. I know Brooklyn still had that 1 game against Boston where if their defense goes away just for spurts, which can happen, they could be in trouble in this series for sure. Yeah, Greek Freak boards over the series. Yeah, he's going to rebound. He's going to be an absolute machine on the boards in this series. He absolutely should be. I think they're live. I'm not saying they win the series. I think it's 6-7. It's competitive. It's tight. It's close. Give me Milwaukee, though. I'm taking a shot here at this plus price for the series. Skee, what do you think? Overall series thoughts here. Should be a good one. Milwaukee, Brooklyn.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Just on the series, I probably would say it's going to be back and forth. Like, I would look for some kind of way to bet that there's going to be at least 6 games, and see what the price you get on that. And I would look for ways I mean, I think Milwaukee has a chance. I don't think Brooklyn is just going to run through them. So I understand why you want to take a shot on them. What I do want to say is the series price for Brooklyn is -200, but they're like -160, -170 for game one. So if you like them, you might as well take them to win the first game. Otherwise, you should wait.
Yeah, that's definitely sound advice there for sure. If you're interested in Brooklyn, I think the key too for Milwaukee is, look, they can't match the offensive perimeter firepower, obviously, of Brooklyn. But if Bryn Forbes is the X factor, Bryn Forbes brings that shooting that he did against Miami, and he gives them that double-digit point production and output that he did against Miami. That's going a long way to at least, balance out the scales on the perimeter battle in this series a little bit more. So he's key. Forbes has got to bring that same offensive ability that he did against the Heat, and that'll give Milwaukee at least a better chance in this series. Dutch, where do you stand here with Bucks versus Nets? We stand on him being muted at this moment in time.
Yeah, my fault. I was coughing, so I had to mute myself. I forgot I did that. Shout out to Doc, Big Ragu, Mom Duke, see you. Yeah, man. So when it comes to this, I don't really do too much on the series bets, and I don't really know we're gonna get too much into this, so I won't take up too much of the time. I look for the Bucks though. But everything you said, Ian, I like what you're saying, and I love Giannis down low. From a rebounding aspect, definitely. But yeah, when it comes to the series, I have to look a little more into it. I'll have some more about tomorrow, and we'll go more into detail about game one tomorrow.
All right, no problem with that.
Yeah.
Conor, what do you think here? This series overall, Brooklyn, Milwaukee.
I think it's gonna be close, like you mentioned. I think this could go 6 or 7. I'm trying to look up real quick. Total games played, like you mentioned, Skee, over 5.5. You think the Bucks can win a couple is -150. It's a lot of juice to be laying, but I think the Bucks win a couple games. It goes at least 6. So that might be a look here. I don't know if the Bucks can win it. I think there's a little bit of value, like you said, but I want more than +160 if I was backing the Bucks. I just think it's a little bit low, but I think it's going to be a great series. I think at least go 6 or 7. The why is because the Nets defense. Not that the Bucks, played a little bit better here in the first round, but I still think they're flawed defensively. And the Nets can score, and they will. Their big three will get there. They'll get to the free throw line. But I see a ton of points in this one. And both it's a whole Nets defense, so I think the Bucks are in it. So I think it'll be a good one. It'll go 6 or 7.
All right, the other Eastern Conference semifinal, Atlanta Hawks, Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers -180 series favorites over at the Hawks. Game one will be Sunday afternoon. This is obviously Joel Embiid. We got to know if he's in or if he's out, and when is he going to come back? Is he going to come back in this series at all? That is still all up in the air. It's obviously significant. The way I see it is if Embiid doesn't play in this series at all, Atlanta's got a real chance to take this series. It really is that simple. If he does play, I should say, or does come back at some point, Philly's obviously going to have a very good chance. If he doesn't play, Atlanta's got a great chance. But here's the one thing that can keep Philadelphia a chance to win this series and survive it even without Embiid. They have better perimeter defenders than New York. All right, Simmons is an elite perimeter defender. I think we've seen enough from Matisse Thybulle as well that he can really lock you up, and that's going to be the key. I think they could do more with Trae Young than the Knicks could. The Knicks just seemed like they couldn't. There's no answers for them at the defensive end against Trae. I think the Sixers do have a little bit more they can throw at him than the Knicks did. So, look, they still would prefer to have Embiid, clearly. I think without him, it's going to be much tougher. I think without him, they could still win this series. They do win this series if he does play, in my opinion. If he doesn't, I still think they could survive this series, but they would not survive Brooklyn or Milwaukee, in the Eastern Final without him. So that's the way I see it. I mean, I think it's a closer series now with Embiid's status up in the air. I don't know if I'm fully ready to fully commit to Atlanta winning this series with or without Joel Embiid right now, because I still think Trae Young has a tougher defensive matchup in this series than he did with the Knicks, having to watch out for Simmons and Thybulle. Guys like that can defend it. And look, Seth Curry's going to have to be great. Tobias Harris is going to have to step up. Ben's going to have to deliver some offense. And if they can do that, I think even without Embiid, they could still survive Atlanta. It would be an East final without him where they'd really run into trouble. What do you think here, Skee? Can the Sixers, first of all, without Embiid, do you think they can still beat Atlanta?
They can, but I don't want to put my money on it. I would need to know that Embiid is going to be in there. I would trust Atlanta more at the end of the games. I mean, Ben Simmons, they'll probably go back to fouling him. He can't make free throws, et cetera, et cetera. And Hawks have been playing good ever since they got their new coach. So they haven't been necessarily that great on the road. But if they could steal one of these games, which I think they can with no Embiid in Philly, they're live to win the series.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's obviously so much of it hinges on Embiid. He's that important, obviously, to the Sixers. Dutch, just some over. I know you're not big on the series prices. Just some quick thoughts, though. Hawks Sixers.
Yeah, shout out to Mac on Records. That's funny, bro. Yeah, it's the only thing that'll freeze me, man. From this, I expect Ben Simmons to eat. Joel Embiid, hopefully he's well, but I think they're just a bit better coach, deeper team. And you mentioned about Philly. With the defense, I mean, from the off the bench, they can bring Thibault. They have defense. They have shooters. I think Trae Young will have trouble this series. I do believe. I think this might be a little bit easier than people expect for Philly. I think the competitive series is the first one we talked about with Milwaukee and Brooklyn. I'm not saying Atlanta's not going to win a game or two, but I expect Philly to handle business, especially at home. And I just expect Ben Simmons to be a nightmare matchup for them. As long as he can be aggressive and attack, I'll be looking to attack his props this whole series, which probably will be shorter than people think.
Yeah, and I know it was Washington the other night, but that game without Embiid, especially in the fourth quarter, I mean, the Sixers showed they could be a solid, functional team, without Embiid. Obviously, there's going to be a better opponent, but I think there's still a pathway to win this series for Philly without Joel Embiid, in my mind.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a question of, could they get him back for the East Final? Because they would need him if you're going to take on a Milwaukee or a Brooklyn after this series. Connor, what do you think here, Atlanta and Philly?
Yeah, like I mentioned in the last one, real quick, I think this could go over 5.5. It's all if Embiid's out. If he's in, I don't know if the Hawks could win 2 games for sure. His status is a big deal. The Hawks, though, one thing, Trae Young might have a little difficulty. They've gotten healthy as down the stretch here, and they played a lot. I thought they played well. The Knicks kind of melted under the pressure, but Hunter, all these guys are in. Capella, Young's playing great, Gallinari, they've all gotten healthy towards the end of the year. I think it'd be a lot closer with Embiid out. With him in, obviously, Philly's really good at home, so I think they probably take care of business. But on the road, they haven't been good the last few years, so I think this series could be tight especially if Embiid's on the bench. If he gets back in there, different story. We'll see about that knee. I mean, if he's going to go, how bad that little tear is. So should be interesting. I think it's going to be a competitive series, though.
Yeah, we're talking meniscus, so it's always dicey to pinpoint a timeline with that. All right, the last series that we know of in the second round, Phoenix and Denver. This should be a good one. This is a low-key, damn good series. I hope it gets the attention and the excitement that I feel for it. It'll be good. Phoenix minus 200 to minus 210 series favorites right now. Denver around plus 170, plus 180 on the take-back. I do think Phoenix wins the series, but I was a bit surprised they were this much of a favorite, minus 200, minus 210. But here's what's going to be the night and day difference for the Nuggets. You went from playing a team that doesn't play one lick of defense to a team that is going to play some. All right, the Suns did defend better and better and better as that series went on against the Lakers. Yeah, Lakers compromised a little, but Phoenix's defense is definitely better than Portland's. We'll see if they can keep it going here. Nikola Jokic, that's who you got to focus on. Phoenix, I think, we think of them sometimes as a little bit vulnerable inside, but I thought they got better as that series went on against the Lakers. Anthony Davis early on, had his way before he got injured and left that series. But I think Phoenix can do a better job of at least keeping him out of the paint. Like Portland is just letting him get to the rim over and over again, Jokic in that series. I think Phoenix is going to do a better job of that. They got some bulldogs like Ayton and Crowder, and they're going to have some guys that are going to be able to at least try to keep him away from the rim, force him to be more of a three-point mid-range guy, because you can't let Jokic do whatever he wants all over the floor. Portland did. I don't think Phoenix is going to allow him that freedom to roam everywhere that he wants to in this series. And for Denver, they got Monte Morris and Austin Rivers, and the support Michael Porter stepping up offensively. They've got to be able to show they can do it again. And Phoenix is not going to really, I think, allow that supporting cast to go off quite as much as the Blazers and that Civ defense, that Matador defense that the Blazers showed all series that they did against Denver. I think it's a good series, 6 games, I think, minimum. I think it's pretty close, but I think Phoenix definitely, with the better defense that they're going to give Denver than they saw against Portland, it's going to be the difference. And look, Chris Paul, he looks like he's on a mission. Devin Booker, how are you going to want to go against him right now with the way he's playing? Good series, tight series, but I have this edge toward Phoenix. I think they pull it out and they get to the West Final. Skee, what do you think here? Denver, Phoenix.
It'll probably be a good series. I think there's advantages for Denver too. I think Jokic is going to have a lot of success, and I don't really see. I see Michael Porter Jr. continuing to have success too. I think we'll get a lot of points in this series, and I'm not really interested in series prices because I'm having success on totals. But I think Denver will compete in this one too.
I agree. I mean, I like Phoenix in the series, but I'm not even coming close to betting that minus 200, minus 210. No, not at that price. I thought it was about 30 cents higher than I would have had it. Dutch, what do you think overall, Denver, Phoenix?
Yeah, from the price value, there might be value there with Denver, but this is Phoenix all day. I think this will be, this is a real key to me actually in this series is DeAndre Ayton. If he could stay out of foul trouble and be on the court. Because I don't like the one thing I don't like about Phoenix is when Frank Kaminsky comes off the fucking bench and has got to play center. Like Jokic, anybody will eat that dude up. That's a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Stay out of foul trouble. Exactly. If you're DeAndre Ayton, and then unfortunately Cox Cable is acting like Cox right now for our man Dutch. But we'll get him back here in just a second. But yeah, he likes Phoenix definitely. That was the gist of his monologue there. Conor Mac, what do you think here? Nuggets versus Suns. This is a low-key, one of the more intriguing series of the second round, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be competitive. I think this goes 6. I think the Suns win. I think this is right when Jamal Murray. I just go back to think, like, if he was on the floor, this could have been a really, really, really close series, I think. With him gone, they need guys like Porter to step up. Jokic was getting his Rivers. Gordon hit that big shot last night, the 3, the kind of dagger. Porter. They all got to come up big. I think the Suns are just a little bit better right now as a team, and they have a little better defense. And it was showing last night. The Lakers' offense isn't very good right now towards the end of the year, but the Suns' defense has definitely been better all year. But it should be a great series. I can't wait to watch. I think Booker is the main guy, and he'll be out. And, of course, Joker, probably the MVP of the league, will get his as well. So it should be really good. And shout out Don't Ask, Don't Tell with the $5 dono. Appreciate it. These people thought AD would be better than Timmy Duncan. LOL.
Hey, it's my fault, man. Cox is fucking driving me crazy, man.
It is. No, but finish your thought. Ayton, you made a good point. Ayton's got to stay out of foul trouble because they are very thin at the backup center spot.
Yeah. So pretty much it comes down to that to me. Honestly, I believe Paul, Chris Paul will take advantage of, the lackluster backcourt that we see in Denver. Booker, he's going to continue. I think he's finding his stride. He's going to ride it. I expect numbers somewhat of what we've seen the last 2 games. And I don't think Denver has a chance in this series. I expect them to win a game, maybe 2, but it'll be Phoenix definitely moving on in 5 or 6, in my opinion.
All right, so emphatically Phoenix, 5 or 6 for Dutch against the Denver Nuggets to move on and advance. All right, great stuff. That's a little preview, a little taste of the second round. We're going to have some good matchups. We'll be here, as always, 7 days a week on the NBA Pub Up. Every single game, we'll be here to break it down throughout the second round and the rest of the playoffs. We will get to best bets. We will get to Dutch's freshest look in just a second to wrap up the show. But before we do that, a couple messages from our friends at Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, check them out when you're in San Antonio, Texas. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke. Southtown 101, visit there when you're in town. Manscaped, promo code PubSports, 20% off. Make sure you check them out. Take care of yourself, all you guys out there with Manscaped, 20% off your purchase using promo code PubSports. And MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. NHL and NBA playoffs still going for another month. We've got U.S. Open major golf coming up in just a couple of weeks. We've got football is 2 months away. We're going to have NFL preseason football in 2 months. It's absolutely, as Dutch would say, it's a beautiful thing when we have the NFL preseason in just a couple months. So football season's right around the corner. Lots of reasons to check out mybookie.ag, Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. So mybookie.ag, use the promo code PubSports. All right, let's get after it for best bet. We're going to open it up. You can use a series price if you want, a prop from tonight, side total from tonight, whatever you want. Skee, we'll start with you. Best bet for this show.
Man, I haven't made any bets in the NBA. So, I hate giving the best bet and I haven't bet it yet, but it is what it is. It's one I'm really close to making, and I'm sure somebody else is going to use the prop, the other prop I like anyway. So I'll go with the over 216 tonight. I think that we'll see points. I don't think that they shoot terrible again, like they shot in the past couple games. So I think it's a low number, over 216.
Yeah, lowest of the series as well, that total. 216, Clippers and Mavericks, best bet for Skee Profit, over 216. Don't worry about stepping on each other's toes, man. There's one game on the schedule tonight. If we have the same best bet, who gives two shits? Right. That's the way it is. There's only one game tonight. Dutch, what do you like here? Best bet, freshest look tonight.
Yeah, man, the freshest look. Shout out to my guy, Eric Chang. He said, Dutch, I put my life savings on Luka, points, rebounds, and assists. If it don't catch me at the Seagull Suites. No, bro. You ain't going to be at the Seagull Suites. And we riding that. The freshest look. Luka the motherfucking Don. Over points, rebounds, and assists. You can get it at 47.5. I endorse 48.5 if that's all you can get. But this is the best number that's out there. He's going over points as well. But you're going to be eating real good, baby. Filet and lobster. Get the shrimp if you want it to. We're going over tonight all day in Dallas, baby. Luka the motherfucking Don.
Luka Doncic, there it is, over 47.5 PRA, points, rebounds, and assists. Freshest look for Dutch. Conor Mac, what do you got? Best bet?
I'll give you two. I'm going to take the 3 with Dallas. If you want to be safe, but you can go money line. But I'm going to go with the 3 prop. Kawhi Leonard, he was 1 of 7. He gets over 2.5. It's plus 150. I want plus prices on the props like I usually try to give out here. He gets over 2.5. He's got to be big, just like Luka. I think their points are good too tonight. But he gets over 2.5 threes, plus 150.
All right, good stuff. There we go from Conor Mac, liking the prop, and also Dallas plus 3 for best bet. My best bet is we've been rolling with these totals. It's been one total's best bet winner after another. We're going to stick with that thought process tonight, over 216, as same as Skee with Mavericks Clippers tonight. I like it. I mean, we get there with the lowest total in this series. I think the shooting percentages will even up. Ty Lue has gone with a smaller lineup. That increases the pace a little bit, at least on the Clippers side. So I think we get over that number. Clippers, Mavericks, game 6, over 216 for me with the best bet for tonight. I also like Luka and Kawhi over their point totals as well. I think those get there as well. Let's have a night. Let's enjoy this game. It's a great drama because if the Clippers flame out again tonight, it'll be something else, and all the flack that that team is going to get would be amazing if they find a way to spit the bit once again. So it's a pressure-packed night for the Clippers. We'll see how they fare in Game 6 tonight. That'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub. We are back with you tomorrow on Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and we will get you ready for Game 1. It's the only game tomorrow night, Milwaukee and Brooklyn, Game 1. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the Saturday show. For Skee Profit, for Dutch Boy Fresh, for Conor Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Let's cash some tickets. Enjoy Game 6, Clippers Mavericks. We'll see you again tomorrow on Saturday right here on the NBA Pub Hub. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. You know what it is. It's Pub Sports Radio. Be sure to like and subscribe. Salute to the chat. It's Luka the motherfucking Don. Early and often, all night, baby. Stay fresh. Stay blessed. And let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest.
We be pubbing. Let's get it. Another big night. Let's go.